Hey everyone, happy Saturday. Welcome back to my channel. I am being a little bit of a health queen, having my green juice. If you guys watch my grocery hauls, you know this one. It's that like impressed green juice and it tastes way better than it looks, promise you. It's actually really nice and sweet. So I thought it was a time that I sat down and did a little bit of an updated Q&A because it has been a little while since I've done one, and I know now that I've hit the 10K, which has been very exciting. There is quite a lot of new people here, so thank you guys so much if you are new, and if you've been here from the beginning, I love you guys so much. I am so excited to keep growing this channel and bringing you heaps more content because I just have a ton of ideas sitting in here and I just never have the time to get them all out. So I did ask you on both Instagram and on YouTube if you had any questions. So if you don't follow me over on Instagram, please do. I will leave the little link to it over here. But if you see a band-aid on my arm, by the way, you would already know this. Sorry, that's my tattoo from Instagram that I burned myself on the oven when I was making a roast dinner the other night. It's actually so sore. So if you see me touching that or anything, that's what it is. But I'll bring up the questions now. I've just been on Uber Eats ordering an acai bowl. There's a place here in Melbourne called Green Cup. And if you guys know, you know. So I just got the classic bowl with it's like peanut butter, strawberries, cacao nibs, and a little bit of granola, which I'm very excited to arrive. So I've got limited time to film this before that turns up on my doorstep, but if you hear a little doorbell go, that's my acai bowl. So I'll jump straight into the questions, and I might start with the YouTube ones because here we are on YouTube, my favorite platform. So first question I got was regarding my teeth. So if you guys haven't watched the latest vlog, I'll leave it linked down below. But basically I was talking about my little teeth journey that I'm going through, and might be relevant to any of you if you have had any like teeth problems requiring like a little bit of a cosmetic kind of situation. But long story short, smashed my face when I was a child falling off a bike, which is just wonderful. And ever since then I had to have a root canal and like had all these kind of problems. So I'm halfway at the moment. I've got the temporary teeth on, but annoyingly they were going really well. And the other night I got a little bit adventurous and I made my roast for dinner, which is friggin' great because that was the night that everything fell apart. So not only did I burn myself grabbing the roast veg out of the oven, but I also made some lamb, and I think just the pressure of biting into it has like made one of these teeth go a bit loose. So a little bit painful at the moment. I'm like crossing fingers that I can hold on till September. The first week of September is when I'm going for the full like take these off and put the veneers on kind of situation. So that is an entire day I've got to take off work for that. But in the meantime, I've just bought some like Sensodyne toothpaste. But terms of the cost, it is a very expensive process. You guys know I'm always honest and transparent with you about things on here, and I have been saving for this for years. It is like a very expensive process. So essentially I've got private health cover, which definitely does help, but not as much as you would think it was compared to like the crazy premiums we pay. I genuinely think I pay like $70 a week or something for top cover with my place, and I don't know, I mean I get like physio and my glasses and like all that kind of stuff through it, but yeah, basically they pay for one veneer per year. So if you could split it up, great. But in my case, I need to get all 4 front teeth. So it's only the one tooth that was affected, but it's been recommended time and time again to me that I do all 4 so that it marries the color in quite nicely. So I'll be getting 1 crown and 3 veneers, and I think each veneer is about $1,300. So, I mean, you do the math on that. Plus I also had to pay $500 for the whitening, and also about another $1,000 for some prep and the molds and all of that kind of stuff. So obviously that is the pricing prior to getting any rebates. So like I said, they completely cover like $1,200 for the 1 veneer, but I'm not gonna lie, it is above $5,000 to go and do this entire process. So that was all taken out of my savings account, and it made me feel very sad that it dwindled down to that. So I totally understand. I'm in a very privileged position in my new job to finally be able to financially go ahead and do this, but that is truly why it has taken me so many years of just getting like a composite veneer thing put on. So anyway, long story short, dentists are expensive. So if you're a dentist, well done. Like certainly chosen a great career. I hope that you are getting most of that money and it's not just going to the corporation or something, but that is the update on that. So the other question I got is, have you always been confident, and how do you practice self-love? Do you have any advice? So I definitely have not always been confident. I actually got bullied quite severely throughout my entire primary school experience, and that was actually one of the reasons we moved initially from Sydney to Queensland, was just for a fresh start, because my parents weren't totally enjoying living there and I was essentially just not even in school at that point because I just couldn't go. So yeah, I mean, if you've ever been through that experience, you would know how horrible kids can be. And I don't know why it's like that. I think it's just the high school mentality. I did go to a co-ed school, so I know sometimes people say single sex schools can, be a little bit worse in that sense. But, yeah, I just did not have a very good, experience in school, and yeah, so that was not ideal, and as a result I was definitely not confident whatsoever. But it helps me that my mum was very, very supportive of me, and she just knew that I was just having a bad time and it was just more unlucky than anything that I was personally doing. So yeah, I mean, quite a few of those people have reached out to me since and apologized and things like that, but it still doesn't sort of change the experience that you've had, although I'm no longer sort of triggered by any of those events or anything, because I've personally just worked through it and it's all like in the past for me. But what I will say in terms of confidence and self-love, my number one tip is internal work. And I know that I do say on this channel quite a lot about like, you know, self-love practices you can do, whether it be like a skincare mask or taking a bath or, you know, moving your body gently and things like this. But I have to say the number one thing you can do is do not talk to yourself like shit. And women especially, I think, do this. I know that men can certainly go through the same struggles that we do, but I just think women really do we speak to ourselves horribly sometimes. And I am definitely not immune to this. I've done it to myself before. I have critiqued myself when I'm standing in the mirror. I have critiqued my decisions that I've made. When you beat yourself up and say something like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that or did that, or you spiral and kind of like, you know, reflect on something you've done and you just think about it for days and days. Like, I have certainly had my struggles with anxiety or just anxious thinking and overthinking and things. And yeah, I would really, really say the number one thing you can do is work on speaking to yourself better, because we can be our own worst enemies. And if you can just have positive internal chat and start to really develop that better relationship with yourself from the inside out, then all of that other stuff like taking a bath and going for a massage and stuff, that's lovely, but you have to address the root cause first. So yeah, if you can even say the kindest things to yourself, like, you are beautiful, you are a kind person. I'm not saying mirror work because I personally find it a little bit cringe and hard to do, but I just think being a little bit easier on yourself. Like, if you are feeling like uncomfortable in an outfit or something and you're speaking poorly to yourself in the mirror, just change. Like, you don't have to wear that particular thing. Just be like, you know what, I'm bloated today, I'm gonna wear my comfy outfit where I feel hot and sexy and feminine, and that's what I'm gonna wear. Like, I'm not gonna force myself to go out in something where I'm second guessing how I look, or you're seeking external validation from others, like saying to your friends like, oh, like, what do you think? Like, just get that embodied feminine energy and solid feeling within yourself first, and I promise you, you will just start to radiate that and actually be able to share that with the people around you, because it is a true gift if you have that self-confidence and then you can lift others up around you, because I find that not many people do, you know, and we're all just a little bit too preoccupied with what other people think about us and not focusing enough on ourselves. So that is definitely my number one tip for increasing your confidence, because similar to my little tattoo that I just got, if you guys saw that in my vlog for my birthday present to myself, I got the word energy, and that is because confidence to me is an energetic exchange. And if you walk into a room and you're confident, people will be magnetized towards you, and you'll know the kind of people I'm talking about as well. It's like when you describe that friend who's just a ray of sunshine, and if you are radiating confidence no matter what and you are really in tune with yourself, then yeah, that energy just comes across, and it's so beautiful to see when people are finally accepting of themselves and really, really blossoming. What else did I get? Lee asked me about the Slow Living Co. and any future products that I'm contemplating. Have I had any difficulties since the pandemic and other things in the future? So if you guys don't know, I do have a little Etsy store called the Slow Living Co. I will leave it linked down below for you, but I've made a couple of products now. I've got a blackout sleep mask, I have some beautiful market tote bags, and and I also have a daily planner. So those three things are just products that I literally use every single day, and I only wanted to make things that were really genuine and authentic to me because that is something that I use, so I figure other people might enjoy using those things as well. So of course I'm always open to feedback. If you guys have purchased these and you think I could be doing it better, I am only me, just like creating and making products, and actually the pandemic didn't affect that at all. I mean, it does in terms of, I mean, I guess inflation, right, that's happening right now means less people are spending money. So we're not really being so frivolous about like buying little bits and pieces that we normally would. I think we're all being a little bit more careful with our money at the moment. So I have seen the sales slow down a tiny bit, but all of my products are sustainably manufactured, which means they're all Australian made. So they're all made here locally as well. And all of the products I source are local in terms of even the printing and things like that as well. So yeah, that's never really affected me, and it's been really, really nice chatting to some of these business owners because they might be small business owners themselves. So they've been very helpful in offering like reduced pricing and things for me so that I could afford to do this in smaller quantities and whatnot. So yeah, I actually have something very, very exciting that is kind of an offshoot of that, which I will be announcing in my next videos. So stay tuned for that because it's a secret I've a little bit been keeping from you guys for a while, but it's actually more content for you, and there have been a couple of hints dropped over on my Instagram, but I'm very, very excited to share something really, really exciting very soon. Have I ever distressed any furniture, and if so, any tips? I love furniture DIYs. I genuinely call this like upcycling of furniture. So if you are wanting to upcycle some furniture instead of throwing it out, first of all, good, because we live in such a consumerist culture where we're constantly buying new things because something doesn't suit our aesthetic, whereas to save money and also to think outside the box and create some beautiful, unique pieces around your home, sometimes all you need is paintbrush and some paint. So my favorite thing at Bunnings, which I think is the biggest and cheapest hack, is if you want to paint things white or a plain color, then you can get a sample pot of paint. So when you go into the paint section at Bunnings, there is a giant section of all the different colors of white. So those ones will already be out on the shelf, and they're literally like $5.50 for a sample pot. And you would be surprised how far that goes, because I've painted pretty much like an entire cabinet using 2 small sample pots of paint. So for $10, I did a complete flip of some furniture. In terms of the color charts, which you know are normally all over the wall, you can actually request a sample pot of any of those. So if you've ever renovated a home, you would already know this because you just grab the color, get them to mix it up for you, and you take that and then do the swatch on the wall. But this is also super handy if you fell in love with a particular color. Like if you guys were following me around Vlogmas time last year, I made some DIY Christmas decorations and I actually painted them all myself. So I wanted to have some beautiful terracotta, kind of warm apricot colored Christmas decorations, and I couldn't find any except in the ultra high-end store. So I just bought a huge box of them from Kmart for like $2, and I painted them this gorgeous color, and those are now my Christmas decorations, and they're mine. They're very unique to me, and no one has any the same as that, and it was an extremely cost-effective way to get a custom item for my home. So in terms of distressing furniture, the other things I would do would be using some sandpaper to sand it down so you've got a clean surface. You may also then want to get a spray paint, which is another easier way than manually kind of painting something. So manually paint it if you don't mind and you want like a bit of a rough brushstroke sort of finish, but if you want a much smoother overall finish, then you can go to the spray can section. Again, I'm just saying Bunnings because my mum works there, so I'm like really familiar with the store, but you can get stuff called a prep, or it's like a prime and paint, or paint and prime, prep and prime, something like that. And that one has the 2 ingredients already within the spray can. So you can get antique ones that will actually crack as they spray on, which gives you that beautiful aged kind of look, or you can just get the classic satin or matte kind of paint as well. So that is the absolute easiest way to get the kind of chalk paint sort of look. That's definitely the terminology you'd be looking for. And I would also recommend just jumping on Pinterest and finding some photos, because I'm absolutely obsessed with Pinterest, and I think it is the easiest place to get any inspiration for all of that kind of stuff. I also got a question saying, I would love to know what kind of dancing you used to do or still do, and happy birthday. So thanks so much, Melody. Dancing, my God. I danced from the age of 3, which is so funny because I can't imagine I was doing anything too good then. But basically I did jazz, ballet, tap, contemporary, and a little bit of acrobatics. So that was my, did I say ballet? I don't know, I can't remember. But that was all the dancing I did, which is literally pretty much everything you can do aside from Irish dancing, because my mum wouldn't let me because the shoes and the outfits were extremely expensive. So that was my little career as a dancer. I did that from the age of 3 to 21. And ever since then, I've kind of done some casual classes and things, but I just didn't have time once I got into like my master's year at uni and then now working full time. I kind of just go to the gym and Pilates and other kinds of exercise that I sort of fell more in love with. But I do still have all of my shoes, and every now and then I get them out. And honestly, being a dancer sort of never leaves you. I find in Pilates, like I'm still doing my little hand moves, and you know, I've still got some muscle memory in terms of like flexibility and things like that. I did also used to teach little kids as part of a job part-time when I was dancing, which was really rewarding as well. But yeah, sadly, I don't dance anymore. I certainly would go to a class if someone asked me, but it's just, yeah, it's one of those parts of my life that I just kind of had to leave behind because in my opinion, dancing is kind of like the be all and end all. You know, when I was dancing about 40 hours a week. I would go to show auditions and things like that. I did a Stedfords, and when I say 40 hours a week, I'm not lying. I literally would get dropped off after school at about 4 o'clock. My mum would pick me up at 9 p.m. and then I would go all day on Saturday and sometimes Sunday as well. So I was essentially training to be like a career dancer, and then I changed my mind. So that's how I then ended up being an architect. And look, I've got another creative pursuit now with this channel as well. So all things kind of work out in the end. This question I got, Emma, I really love all of your content, especially your decor and interior perspectives and ideas. I would love a video about how you go around choosing an aesthetic or a direction in which to decorate an apartment or a home for someone who has no idea what they're doing, which pieces of furniture to splurge on and which to keep trendy. How do you go about trying to create a cohesive space when you basically know nothing but enjoy the idea of creating a space that you love? So thank you so much for this question. There was a little bit more to it, but of course, I have actually been creating something for this, and I guess I can launch it in this video because I'll do a proper launch later, but you guys can be the first to know. So I have been working on a website. You may have seen this in the bio of my Instagram, again, if you follow me over there, but I started a business and yet again, not officially launched. The website is a work in progress, so please do not be too critical of it because I'm just chipping away at it on my lunch breaks every single week as I get a bit of time. But I have taken the business name Habitatis and I have created a little bit of a business around that. So the purpose will be eventually to have some online courses where I'll be able to give some of my knowledge about things. So I want to create a slow living course. I want to do stuff around being organized. And I also want to do a high vibe home kind of course where I can really show you how to create a beautiful, beautiful space and essentially answer all of these questions on how do you start from like the vision boarding process right through to furniture selection, finishes, and actually doing the installation and things as well. Because I know tons of people can obviously afford to like pay for a designer, but however, a lot of you also are like me and you're very DIY spirited and would like to do it yourself, because it is actually so fun if you are lucky enough to own your own home, or even if you're just renting, which is obviously like me. And the reason why I wanted part of this channel to be about affordable and accessible design for absolutely anyone and everyone, because I do stuff at work that is like millions and millions of dollars of homes, right? But also I understand that I don't live in a multi-million-dollar home and I don't have that kind of budget, but I still want to have a beautiful, cohesive space which really suits a particular theme. So obviously you guys would have seen that my direction has been going a little bit more minimal. So I've integrated quite a lot more of very simplistic kind of colors and textures, a lot of blacks and whites and things to have those statement pieces. And that is something that has been kind of the thread that ties it all together. So I would really love to dispel a little bit more of this knowledge, and I can absolutely do some more design kind of information and home styling styling sort of videos because I know those always do really well on here, and they are also my favorite kind of content to create for you guys. So if I showed you through a little bit of my Pinterest, essentially I've already created a ton of boards and saved pins onto them. So you are more than welcome to save these onto your own boards, but I use these for client consultations where I'm doing one-on-one design sessions, which is something that I actually already do offer, but I've just never advertised it actively on here. So if you are actually serious about wanting to have a consultation with me, then definitely feel free to leave your details, or you can DM me on Instagram or something and we can chat about that. They are very affordable sessions. It is literally a fraction of the price of my regular charge out rate at my normal job. But basically I've got a ton of boards here. I've got boho home, French provincial, rustic, African, Japandi, art deco, dark and moody, desert western, industrial, farmhouse, Bauhaus, Hollywood. We've got glamorous. I have ideas for kids rooms, modern rustic, Scandi, minimal, neoclassical, like honestly every style under the sun. So definitely jump on there if you are looking to try and find some initial inspiration. But that is kind of what I would recommend clients do. Just find things that really light you up. And then the benefit of having even a one-on-one consultation with the designer is I can kind of help you find the bits and pieces you're wanting from those so we can tie them together cohesively. Because if you just like one from here, 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 and here, they're just going to clash too much. So you can, generally speaking, blend probably two styles together and still have a really beautiful effect. But you just don't want to take too many things and come up with a space that is too eclectic, because it'll just feel extremely overwhelming. And I always say a beautiful house or a dream home would feel like you're on a holiday, and you just want to come home and feel calm, chilled, and also have some beautiful areas which kind of maybe your workspace can be really invigorating and inspiring, or maybe your kitchen is really rustic and homey feeling, and kind of, if you're really into cooking, sort of has a few things like out on display. And yeah, maybe your lounge room, the key kind of components you're looking for there would be comfort and coziness. And so that might mean adding and layering some soft elements, whether that be like throw pillows and rugs, and layering of different pieces of decor and plants and things like that. So there's so much that goes into styling, and I could literally talk about it forever, which is how I know I'm in the right career. But yeah, I absolutely love everything to do with that, and I would love to help you guys more. So I will definitely be a little bit more conscious in future to create a couple more of those videos, particularly as we come towards the summer holidays where many of us have a little bit of time off, so you'd actually have time to go about and do these things. So yeah, now I might move on to the Instagram questions, because there was just a couple of those ones left. So I got one saying my boyfriend will hate this. So we've been together for 3 years. His name is Jazz. He is, we actually have a little bit of an age gap. I don't know if I've ever talked to you guys about that, but he is actually 14 years older than me, and you definitely wouldn't know it if you met us, because we are so in love, and we get so many lovely compliments from even strangers when we're out and about, of people just saying like, wow, you two are just a beautiful couple, like the way that you interact with each other. And he is a very traditional kind of man. Like, he's the kind of man that will hold my arm when we're walking down the street, and he will open a door, pull out a chair. Like, he does all of those beautiful gentlemanly things that I think society is kind of squashed a little bit sometimes, and I personally really like being treated like that. Sometimes it makes me feel very safe and very celebrated as a woman, because I had on my vision board, which I was going to say is behind me, but I've actually I need to make a new one. So maybe we can do a little bit of a end of year vision boarding kind of exercise, because now that we're past the halfway mark of the year, I do want to do a little bit of a monthly reset on that. But basically, one of my goals was to be more in my feminine, and that means that my man needed to be more in his masculine. And lucky for me, that is kind of the dynamic that we've got. So all day at work, I feel like I'm, you know, so busy and making all these decisions, and yeah, really just going hard into all of that stuff. And when I am at home, I just want to chill, I want to relax, and I want someone else to just make some decisions and do some plans and things for me. So yeah, this question says, Jazz, turn the video off. The question says, would you say yes if your boyfriend proposed at the moment? Look, God, wouldn't every girl, honestly? Like, I'm such a hopeless romantic, but honestly, I could say in the past there would be hesitations with previous partners, because I think that we deep down always know when something isn't quite right, and this is the total opposite of that. And I hate to be very cliche about it, but it is one of those situations where people say, when you know, you know. And I just knew, like quite literally the second that I met him on our first date, we just went clicked, started chatting. There was magnetic chemistry there. We have a great intellectual connection, and he is just many of the things that I've always wanted in a partner. So yeah, I mean, I would love that. But I definitely see him as my forever person. And I feel very fortunate because I didn't meet him until I was 30. So, you know, it's, there was a lot of sort of heartbreak and crappy relationships and lessons to be learned prior to that. And as they say, every lesson is a blessing, but some of them were harder than the others. But it makes it all worthwhile, you know, when you meet the right person that, yeah, they just really honor you and care about you. And it's just so obvious in all of those little micro actions that someone does. I think those little small things will always mean more to me than the grand gestures, because although appreciated, you know, things like flowers or holidays or this and that, it's just those little day-to-day things that really let me know that someone does deeply care about me. So next question was also about him. I got a few of these actually, you guys, saying, how do you and your partner agree to be both okay with living separately, and also are we interested in living together? So I have been asked this a few times. I will address it, although I do find it slightly triggering. But anyway, look, I would happily live with a partner. I've never lived with a partner before. This is just a case of two very independent people, and we both have our own interests and things. Like, for example, today is the Saturday. I'm at home filming a video and connecting with you guys, and he's at home playing the piano because he loves playing his piano. He's learning jazz and classical and stuff at the moment, and I'm totally secure in this relationship, so I'm very fine with us spending time apart because we were already together this morning. We'll be together again this evening, and for me, it's all about quality rather than quantity of time spent together. So yeah, I mean, we do have our sort of set date nights and things during the week where we spend time together as well. But realistically, I work, like many of you, a corporate job 5 days a week. So he has a bit of a different, more flexible kind of lifestyle. But the difference would be, I mean, if we lived together, of course, it would be lovely to, you know, be able to get a bigger place and share some resources and connect over dinner and things every night. And I very much do look forward to that day. But I think that might be more on the cards like next year, because I'm just in a huge period of growth. So is he, and we really just value our time when we come together, and I don't want to risk the relationship kind of falling into any sort of feeling of the mundane, or, you know, having those petty little arguments that you can have over like annoying things like the freaking dishes or something. Like, I don't want to argue with the love of my life about doing housework. So at the moment, we're both very happy with how things are. But yes, definitely in the future, that will absolutely be on the cards. We have talked about it, and yeah, I just don't really kind of ever buy into like society's time frames of things. I feel like this about so many things, that it's often a lot of the external pressures and other people's sort of views towards us that can drive you into making certain decisions. And I would rather just make decisions on my own, in my own time. And yeah, when both people are really comfortable and happy, because you don't just want to be like a very, well, I want this, and if you don't want this, then we won't be together, because you would never want to throw away an excellent relationship over something so minor as like a living arrangement or something. So just my personal opinion. I know we're all so different on that. Look, honestly, I think some people, when they, you know, meet the love of their life and they move in within a couple of weeks, I do feel a little pang of jealousy, because I'm like, God, that would be so fun just doing everything together. But then I also really like the way that we do things as well. So the last question that I have for you guys says, if it's not too personal, what makes you ensure you continue to be relatable, authentic, and kind? Which is such a lovely comment, and I'm so happy that that actually comes across through the camera, because it's hard to know. I guess you kind of always have to put on a little bit of an energetic version of yourself when you sit down to film things, but the best way to do that is literally just being yourself. So if you guys were to meet me out and about, like, this is me. Like, I know you're getting a slightly edited and little percentage version of who I am through all of my videos and things. But I mean, I jump on here with no makeup, with full makeup, like doing my housework, doing whatever, just living life. And I think that is honestly the best way to connect with people, because if we're lucky enough to meet in person, you will already know me because you've gotten to know the real me through these videos. So I think that is honestly the best way to go about life. You don't need to pretend to be something that you're not or try and put on a certain video. Like when I first started filming on here, I was like scripting things and like freaking out about like the sequence that I had to do stuff. And I'd watched all these YouTube videos about like, this is how like you create a video and you got a storyboard and stuff. And honestly, the second I stopped doing that and literally just flicking the camera on, sitting down and chatting was when my channel really started to grow, because I think that people can tell, you know, like you guys can tell. I'm just sitting here, waiting for my acai bowl patiently. I can't believe that the doorbell hasn't gone yet because I've literally been sitting down filming for like half an hour now. But yeah, I think that, you know, when you actually are just living life, that is when you're making the best connections with people. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not, and I really don't need to be as well. I think that we all share the same common interests, and that's why that you guys are here. It's part of my audience and why we're connecting and watching each other, because we like the same kind of stuff. And I honestly wish I just knew more of you in real life, because as an adult, I think that some of your friendships can kind of start to fall away, or you lose touch with people, and it's purely just because our interests kind of go a different way. And sometimes our interests with other friends can be unexpected and sort of go closer together, and that's totally fine. It's just life. So that is, I guess, my answer to that question. I hope that answers the question. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up now because I'm very hungry and I want to finish this juice and then go and have my yummy little acai bowl. But I hope that has answered most of your questions, and thank you guys so much for asking as well and for joining me to sit down for this little video. So stay tuned for that announcement. I'll drop that video in about 2 or 3 days from now. I'm going to try and get back into my regular posting schedule as well, because I had taken a couple of little sort of stab and start breaks where I was falling behind, and honestly, that is just life. It's been very hard balancing this and my job, but that is all about to change a little bit more as well. So thanks so much guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.